Greetings, people who really like the accordion. I just played the theme song from the TV show called Family Guy. Now, this show might not be the kind of show that everybody wants to watch. It's a little rough, okay, but it's a popular show. It's been around for about 20 years, I think. Written by Seth MacFarlane and Walter Murphy. And I play this because, first of all, it's really, really fun to play. And the chord progressions, though they seem simple, are really, really good. These are really nice, simple chord progressions, okay? So here's your verse chords, verse. That's how I play it. And then here's your, it's kind of a chorus, but it's also kind of just a verse part too, because it's a very short song, okay? Now, what I want to explain here specifically is this particular button combination. It's a D diminished button with the B counterbass, okay? Now this same button combination occurs later, and we'll talk about that because this gives it just a slightly different effect, okay? So we'll look at this. Now let's just first go through the verse chords, okay? Just in case you actually want to play it. F major, G dominant 7, C dominant 7, F major, B flat major. Then there's that B counterbass and D diminished chord button. Index, thumb, index, thumb. Then F major, D dominant 7, which I play with the D bass, and the A diminished chord button. That's the same as your D7, only it's a complete chord with no tones missing. G7, C7. Then the so-called chorus goes B flat major, B counterbass with the D diminished chord button, F major, D7, G minor 7. That's a G bass with the B flat major chord button. C7, F major, D7, dominant 7, G minor 7, A dominant 7, and a D minor button with the C bass, then a B counterbass with the G dominant 7 button, then the F chord button with the A counterbass, A flat diminished chord, G minor 7, which is the G counterbass this time, C dominant 7 with the C counterbass, and the G diminished chord button, pinky, thumb, pinky, thumb. Then I go to the D flat, C counterbass, F chord. Or you could go D counterbass, then C here for the ending. Let me go through those chords again, just the chords. And the chorus. Okay, I just ran through all these chords. It's a short song, but again, it's really fun to play once you learn it. And the chord progressions, though basic, are beautiful. Now, let's get back to this first appearance of this combination here, okay? So what you have is, what you're actually playing is your D diminished button with your B counterbass. All right, that's the buttons that you're actually pressing. The tones that you get from those buttons would be B, D, and F. But over here on this side, with this first occurrence, you have an A flat in the melody. So that actually gives you a B diminished 7 chord. That's actually kind of what you're hearing when you use this first occurrence of this button combination. Now, the second time it occurs, right here, all right. Second time it occurs, you're again pressing the D diminished button with the B counterbass, and these are the tones that the button's creating, B, D, and F, but in the melody, you have D and F. In other words, a repeat of what you see here. So you're really only getting a B diminished chord. You're not getting the B diminished 7, you're getting a B diminished. All right? Then, down here at the end, okay, you have this, I have it marked as an A flat diminished, okay? And what that means is, you're actually playing an A flat diminished chord button with the A flat bass, all right? That gives you the tones F, A flat, and C flat. But in the melody, over here, you're getting a D flat, all right? So what you actually have is a D flat dominant 7 chord. That's what you actually get. And when you look at this, you see that these 3 tones here create the F diminished chord, all right? You see that. So you say, you know what? Why don't you just, with the left hand, why don't you just play the D dominant 7 button combination instead of the A flat diminished? Okay? Well, I'll tell you why. First of all, there's already a D flat in the melody, okay? Second of all, in the D flat dominant 7 chord button, the A flat is missing. You lose a tone, all right? The third thing is, it's a longer jump from F to D flat 7 than it is from F to A flat diminished. And on my accordion, on the A flat bass button, I have the little stone on there, the fake diamond, so it's easier for me to grab that A flat, and it's also less far. It's not as far as the D flat. So, okay, that's why I chose it. Plus, the reason why I don't use the D flat dominant 7 is I kind of have a bass progression going here. A flat, G minor 7. See, I'm going down on the left hand and up on the right hand. Okay? I think that's about it. It's a short song. Oh no, let me show you this here. And you can say, oh, okay, well, why don't you use the F diminished chord button instead of this combination? All right, I forgot to tell you. I say, no, we don't use that. And the reason being is because the 7th, here's F diminished. The 7th tone, okay, the D in that chord button will clash with the D flat. It'll clash with the D flat in the melody. it'll clash with the D flat in the melody. Okay, you see in the F diminished chord button, all right, there's on this, in this button on the accordion, the button on the accordion doesn't play these tones. It plays a seventh, a D, all right, in that button, in this button, and it will clash. See, it clashes. So, in summary then, try not to take 5 years. This is not a show for everybody. It's kind of crass, kind of harsh. A Family Guy. Most people think they're referring to Peter Griffin, the main character. Actually, Family Guy means parody. It's a parody. It's a satire. They're making fun of the American family. Because if you look around, you'll see in America, turn on your fake news and turn on your internet, you'll see that the America is going down the tubes quickly because of poor leadership. But you see family parody. That's what it is. It's a really nice song. And I hope you learn to play it. Thank you and good night.